We're joined in the studio by a couple of guests. One is the father of Hugh Barter, and the other one is Hugh Barter. And Hugh, of course, one of the young Australian race drivers who has put a couple of notches already on his belt, but one day wants to be Australia's next Formula One champion. Welcome to the studio, guys.
Thank you.
Some big news. You guys have been given some tremendous news from the French authorities. Tell me, Chris, what's going on? What's happened? The French think enough of your son that they've brought him into the family.
Yeah, look, late last year he was selected to go to Europe to be one of 10 kids from all around the world to be selected to drive at the Richard Mille Shootout, Young Academy. And Hugh won, which was above our expectations. And Hugh did an amazing job and topped most of the categories of what they were testing for the event, and they went through physical, mental, obviously driving, and presence. They interviewed him, and yeah, he did very, very well. They were very impressed with him.
But with good outcomes and good results, there are challenges ahead.
Yes.
Some things have shifted. And one of those things may well be the whole family.
Right.
What in heaven's name is going on?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that an young Australian driver needs to go overseas to put himself in the best possible light to make the sort of inroads that he needs to in order to get the best seat and the fastest car?
Yeah, look, he could do it by himself, but my wife and I both basically agreed that it was going to give him the best opportunities. If we came over, we can handle life for him and he could concentrate on what he has to do, and he's not having to cook and fend for himself.
We should explain. Hugh, the first time I spoke to him was knee-high to a grasshopper, and he's shot up. I can't believe how tall he is at the moment. You must be feeding him, you and your wife. Look, he's been an outstanding youngster. He's been an outstanding young man, a tremendous ambassador for the sport in this country, and I'm sure he'll be a marvellous representative going forward. But the whole family has been on this trip from day one. It's not as if you've just decided, well, he's done pretty good, we should jump on board. You've been great believers from the very beginning. Even Mum, we need to revisit this story because Hugh, you might like to add to this. Your mother was so invested and so involved, you made her the mechanic.
Yeah. Age of, how old was I? I would have been 12. I was just starting to get into the serious business in nationals, and Mum would have spent 2 years studying what I did, and obviously we had people helping us, and she would take notes on what different parts of the cart would do, and then eventually she's working on the cart and giving ideas to the team.
So not just cooking in the kitchen, but cooking up things in the garage
That's
for you.
That's my job, George. I'm
Yeah. Good chef.
I love that. That's fantastic stuff. So talk to us, this decision to actually uproot the whole family, and it will be the whole family, it won't be just one or two of you, it'll be all of you heading off to France. How did it come about? Was it something you had in the back of your hand, or is it just cropped up and you thought, no, if we're going to do this properly?
There was options in that he could just go over and he can cook for himself and he can do that. But my wife and I both decided that it was going to be better for him if we both went, give him the best opportunity because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we just want to make the most of it, because if he does well, then it opens more doors for the year after, and if he's struggling with either not having family there or there's distractions, it just makes more sense that we move over.
Mum is Natsuki, correct?
Yeah.
Dad is Chris. Who's the best French speaker?
That'd be you.
Well, I've studied French for 3 years at school.
Good.
It's very hard to use it over there. Obviously, when you learn a language at school, it's much different to when you actually use it in the actual country.
That's right.
Because
yeah.
you've got how fast they talk and
accents,
the fluency is just
dialect.
It's just so different. But I have to give it to Dad for actually trying to speak it, and I think he has a bit of a better understanding, because Mum, obviously her first language isn't English either, and so Japanese and French is two completely different sides. So I think Dad's got it.
Yes, we should explain to each and everybody watching that Natsuki is not a French fluent speaker. English she speaks very, very well.
Yeah.
Japanese is her fluent language, correct?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. How many languages do you speak?
I speak one fluently.
One fluently. How good is Japanese?
I can understand it like a sort
Can
of
you get into
conversation.
trouble with Japanese?
No.
No. Very good. Can you get into trouble with French?
No.
Okay, good stuff.
Although
Chris,
you'd be-
this
you'd
must
be
fill
shot
you
around
with
stuff.
this must fill you with a great deal of confidence.
Yes. Look, I mean, the French. As long as you try to speak French,
Yeah.
they're welcoming. But if you open the conversations, I can't speak French,
Yeah.
they just shut you off straight away.
No, they've come a long way. They were very much more anti the rest of the world. They thought the French were just about the be-all and end-all of everything. They've come a long way. I know the first time I went to France and made an attempt to speak, I noticed that the more attempts I made, the warmer they were to me. And
Yes.
even as late as a couple of years ago, I went back and I noticed even more that they're more open and they understand the international dollar means a lot for their economy too. But for you guys, this is a huge drain and a huge cost.
Yes.
How does this all get going? How do
Well,
you make things? How do you make ends meet?
Well, we're just basically hoping that corporate Australia is actually going to get behind Hugh and actually support him, because it's a massive journey to go to the finish line.
Yep.
And to where he wants to go.
Have they been nibbling?
There's some people actually starting to be interested in Hugh. Obviously, Hugh's got a large social media following, so that helps as well. And Hugh's obviously ticking all the boxes to do all the right things. And he's attractive, he speaks well.
I must explain, and why we jumped on very early to be supporters of Hugh. We thought he was an outstanding young ambassador. We thought he was an outstanding young Australian with a great drive to succeed and do something special. And that aspirational component, if a company out there, corporate, doesn't see the value of having someone like that in the team, I think they're going to miss the boat. And when the time comes, he'll be very expensive to bring into the team. We wish you every success, Hugh. Once again, so far so good. Tremendous effort to get where you are and to win, as they say, in France last year. 21 augurs well. So keep up working. Don't eat as much because you need to be able to fit in the car. So speak to Natsuki. Chris, good luck with the move. When is it expected? When are you looking like wrapping things up? And what happens to the house here? Does it have to be sold?
Everything's packed up. Our life is now in a 3x3.
But you're not selling?
Everything's gone. Everything, all the carting equipment, everything's gone.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty
Well,
good.
Chris and Hugh Barter, thank you for joining us in the studio. So next time we speak, it'll be via Zoom, I suppose, from France, from Le Mans.
Yep.
Listen, you're going to base yourself at one of the most historic and magnificent racetracks in the world. A guy called Steve McQueen made a movie called it Le Mans. And if you haven't seen it, see it. Scary. All right? Look after yourselves. All the very best. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, George.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Happy.